cats, it's Ed Ramon Bud here. Today I've got a running tech review for you. I know there's lots of runners out there that particularly enjoy using bone conduction headphones. Today I've got a review of the Open Run, which is a new set of headphones from Shokz, formerly known as Aftershokz. Thanks for joining me here on the channel, guys. It's always appreciated. If you've been using some bone conduction headphones for your running, let me know in the comments below. The Sports Sound Masters over at Shokz, formerly Aftershokz, have some cracking new bone conduction headphones for me here. I've been lucky enough to test them out over the past couple of weeks. I'm not being paid to make this review though, these are my honest opinions as per usual. These are the new Open Run headphones, which have got some new features which I think make them even more desirable. What's new here in the Shokz, formerly Aftershokz, Open Run? As I say, they've updated this model from the former Aeropex, which was the top of the range model. I feel this name's going to make it a little bit clearer as to what these headphones do, what their chief usage is. I think a few more runners will see the benefits that a pair of bone conduction headphones will offer to them. As someone who recently suffered a running injury, where awareness, I suppose, was a big problem, I've been slowly coming back from injury, and the open nature of the Open Run here has really helped out. They've kept me aware of any hazards that may be around whilst running, but also allowed me to enjoy the music I love without being closed off from the outside world. I don't think anyone can worry about the construction of the Open Run headphones from Shokz, formerly Aftershokz. The band itself does look really thin, but don't worry, it's titanium. And there's only one other thing that's harder than that on Earth, and that's the will of Ed Bud. So these weigh in at about 26 grams, so you barely feel them when they're on your head. It is truly amazing actually how light these things are. They really are incredibly light in hand and on your head. Hats off to Shokz, formerly Aftershokz, as to how they've managed to minimise the bulk here in the Open Run, considering all the tech that is built into them. Cranking up the volume produces some clear and crisp highs on material from Aesop Rock's The Impossible Kid, and there's a rounder thump to the kick drums on Johnny Marr's 2013 album The Messenger. Bone conduction headphones are never going to deliver the same low end that you'd get perhaps from some standard earbuds. You're going to miss out on some of that sub-bass content perhaps if you're particularly into drum and bass, but that's not really the outcome that we're after here with this type of headphone. I found the Open Run's got a really good balance between sound representation and the ability to convey the music or sound to you in a natural, realistic fashion through the course of that different delivery method that Shokz, formerly Aftershokz, are utilising here in the Open Run. I think the Open Run's got the balance just about right between the two things. I think a key feature here, a new feature that comes to this model, is that quick charge method. There's nothing worse, is there, than putting your headphones in and then realising they're completely out of juice. Perhaps if you've got a long run, 14 miles or something, and you don't particularly want to just stay within your skull for that whole time. Even 6 miles today, I had one of my son's songs that he listens to, the Skeleton Dance or something, going around, for 47 minutes or something. That's not what you want. The Open Run's got a proprietary charger cable which is magnetic, easy to actually set it up. Reasonable length on the charging cable as well, which is always a bit of a boon. I think a quick 10-minute blast of juice gives the device about 1.5 hours. That's enough to get you through 10 miles, no worries. Shokz, formerly Aftershokz, reckon on about 8 hours of use from a full charge, and I found that to be pretty much spot on from my usage over the last couple of weeks. I think the physical controls here are a real boon in the Open Run. I'm not the biggest fan of touch controls on things, especially when you're running. If your fingers start to get very moist, it's very wet out there, you start to get some strange ghost commands. Not here in the Open Run, it's all physical controls, which I really like. Call me old-fashioned, but that's just the man I am. I think another big advantage of this product is the waterproof nature. I mean, don't go leaping into a lake or the ocean or something using these, that's not a good idea. But for wet weather runs, I found these to be really great. Apparently the unit could be immersed into up to 1 metre of water, so average puddle round here, and for 30 minutes as well. I don't think anybody's going to do that, are they? Stay in water for 30 minutes. You get pretty cold, and it's quite considerable when you actually think about it, so there we go. They are over-spec'd for the job from that aspect. There is some basic EQ here, a couple of different settings. One of them's like a voice enhancement setting that you can put on. So perhaps if you're listening to podcasts or maybe an audiobook, that could be the setting to go for. The multi-function control on the left-hand side headphone is used to stop and start material. You can go forwards a track with 2 taps, or back to the previous track with 3 taps, though you need to be on the ball to perform that one correctly. It's pretty tough to do. On the right side of the device you have the other physical buttons to operate volume up and down, and there's like a dual press as well which achieves certain things too. Certainly in the very wet weather we've had recently, the Open Run's performed perfectly. I haven't had any major issues at all. In fact, I had to use the Open Run one day because the touch controls on my other set of earbuds just weren't working. Just too wet for them. And of course exercise is only going to make that worse as you get wetter and wetter. That sort of silicone type layer that's over the Open Run as well is great. It's just really easy to clean off once you've utilised them in the outside world. So I did find that music with lots of transients fared far better on the Open Run. For example, Run Rudolph Run by Lemmy, Dave Grohl and Billy Gibbons sound superb, as there's loads of quick fire drum hits there. You can almost visualise Dave Grohl beating the skins. There's a little bit less of a reliance on that track though in terms of low end content. You don't necessarily hear the rumble there of the drums. You've got more mid-range coverage though in the Open Run, those lovely guitar tones. I think it's a direct replacement to the Aeropex. Adding in that quick charge feature makes these a really desirable device. I mean, it was already a solid product, but adding that in too just gives it the extra edge. I think if you were on the fence about picking up a product like this, now is the time. With the launch of the Open Run over the last few days, and I believe there's some other products coming very soon as well from Shokz, formerly Aftershokz. I think it's a good time to pick up a pair right now. I think these are ideal for sporting applications where you really need to be aware of the surroundings, perhaps if you're in a very urban area, or you just like being able to take in nature too. But stop yourself from going completely crazy on those long runs with no music or sound whatsoever. Nothing to accompany you. I mean, sometimes you want that, don't you? You just want nothing at all and just to focus on the activity. Other times you need something to keep you going, and these are ideal for that. Links to be able to pick up the Open Run are in the description of this video. They're not affiliate links, they're just links to show you where the product is. I think if you try to compare something like the Open Run against the Earfun Air Pro 2, they're quite different products really, made for different things. I mean, you've got quite an enclosed sound here, a huge bass response from the Air Pro 2. You're not going to get that with these headphones, but that's not really the intended use. If you want gallons of bass, I mean, this is the way to go, isn't it? Some sort of enclosed earphones with very large drivers. But I keep seeing runners around who are putting themselves in danger really because they're playing music really loud. They can't hear when people are coming, or perhaps if there's traffic going around tight corners and things. You know, you could have like a person walking a dog, maybe some elderly person there. I think having something like this in your arsenal is really useful and helps to improve the safety perhaps. If you're getting out there every day, sooner or later, you know, you're going to run into a problem. No pun intended. As you can see, I didn't really have any major issues wearing these with glasses or a cap even. The back band of the Open Run doesn't seem to interact too much with the cap, especially if you actually wear the cap in the intended way. You may have cottoned on that Aftershokz have changed their name to Shokz. Every time I say Shokz, I have to say formerly Aftershokz. Quite enjoyed doing it actually in this review. Sorry if it drove you insane, but that's what I had to do. A quick musical interlude for you. I was pleased to see some Idles live material pop up on the Apple Music Store. I say Apple Music Store, I mean Apple Music. There's no store anymore as far as I'm aware. This is part of the Apple Music Home Sessions. 3 live recorded tracks and they're really great. I think that 2 of them are from the recent album that Idles released, and there's a 3rd track which is really nice, something quite different. There's a stomping version of the tune Car Crash here, which is very noisy, very abrasive sort of sounds here. Some people will not like it whatsoever, others will really thrive listening to this one. The Wheel has got very lo-fi sort of drums, very dense sort of production there, although it's really nice to hear the vocals so far forward in the mix, which is something we don't always get with Idles material. The last track, Horizon, features some really plaintive piano parts, lots of reverb there, something quite different for Idles fans to take in. Only 11 minutes worth of stuff here, but it's worth checking out guys if you have Apple Music. Idles here with the Apple Music Home Sessions. Thanks for sticking with me to the end of today's video guys, it's always appreciated. Tomorrow we have a review coming up of the Adidas Adistar. It's a very interesting shoe. I need to get a few more miles into it tomorrow before I finish off my review for you. Not quite sure what to make of it yet. If you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button and also click the bell below for notifications of when we launch those new videos for you. And R2 says, can you please give this video a thumbs up like and also share it with your running buddies. My name's Ed Budd and I'll be seeing you